60 artificial intelligence interview questions to prepare your interview. _ 1. What are common uses and/or applications for AI? Your answer here should show that you recognize the far-reaching and practical applications of AI, but your answer is up to you because your personal understanding of the AI field is what the interviewer is trying to ascertain. If possible, mention those uses most relevant to the potential employer. Possibilities include contract analysis, object detection and classification for avoidance and/or navigation, image recognition, content distribution, predictive maintenance, data processing, automation of manual tasks or data-driven reporting. 2. What are intelligent agents and how are they used in AI? Intelligent agents are autonomous entities that use sensors to know what is going on, and then use actuators to perform their tasks or goals. They can be simple or complex and can be programmed to learn to better accomplish their tasks. 3. What is TensorFlow and what is it used for? TensorFlow is an open-source software library originally developed by the Google Brain team for use in machine learning and neural networks research. It is used for data flow programming. TensorFlow makes it much easier to build certain AI features into applications, including natural language processing and speech recognition. 4. What is machine learning and how does it relate to AI? Machine learning is a subset of AI. The idea is that machines will learn and get better at tasks over time rather than having humans constantly having to input parameters. Machine learning is a practical application of AI. 5. What are neural networks and how do they relate to AI? Neural networks are a class of machine learning algorithms. The neuron part of neural is the computational component and the network part is how the neurons are connected. Neural networks pass data among themselves, gathering more and more meaning as the data moves along. Because the networks are interconnected, more complex data can be processed more easily. 6. What is deep learning and how does it relate to AI? Deep learning is a subset of machine learning. It refers to using multi-layered neural networks to process data in increasingly complex ways, enabling the software to train itself to perform tasks like speech and image recognition through exposure to these vast amounts of data, for continual improvement in the ability to recognize and process information. Layers of neural networks stacked on top of each for use in deep learning are called deep neural networks. 7. Why is image recognition a key function of AI? Humans are visual and AI is designed to emulate human brains. Therefore, teaching machines to recognize and categorize images is a crucial part of AI. Image recognition also helps machines to learn, as in machine learning, because the more images that are processed, the better the software gets at recognizing and processing those images. 8. What is automatic programming? Automatic programming is describing what a program should do and then having the AI system write the program. 9. What is a Bayesian network and how does it relate to AI? A Bayesian network is a graphical model for probabilistic relationships among a set of variables. It mimics the human brain in processing variables. 10. What are constraint satisfaction problems? Constraint satisfaction problems, CSPs, are mathematical problems defined as a set of objects the state of which must meet a number of constraints. CSPs are useful for AI because the regularity of their formulation offers a commonality for analyzing and solving problems. 11. What is supervised versus unsupervised learning? Supervised learning is a machine learning process in which outputs are fed back into a computer for the software to learn from, for more accurate results the next time. With supervised learning, the machine receives initial training to start. In contrast, unsupervised learning means a computer will learn without initial training to base its learning on. 12. How would you transfer data from one Hadoop cluster to another? This question aims to test your experience with Hadoop. Generally, migration of data from one cluster to another is not very frequent. Hence, a person with deep expertise would be able to tackle this one. Distributed copy command, DISCP, is a tool provided by Hadoop for copying large data sets between distributed file systems within and across clusters. The command submits a regular MapReduce job that performs a file-by-file copy. MapReduce is also used to affect its distribution, error handling and recovery, and reporting. Hadoop disk, source, destination. Here, source and destination are HDFS URLs. 13. What are fact tables? A fact table record captures a measurement or a metric. For example, fact_purchased that gives us a number of units purchased by date, by store and by product for a company. The other tables which provide some data around how these measurements and metrics in a fact table are dimensions tables. So for the same scenario above, dim_time provides date details around the purchase. dim_store provides the store details around the purchase. A fact table usually will have all the primary keys to required dimensional tables and the measurement or the metric value for that record. 14. Give some problems or scenarios where MapReduce concept works well and where it doesn't work. In order for us to answer this question, we should understand the motives behind this question. The interviewee wants to know how well we know MapReduce and other similar programs to be able to distinguish between where to use MapReduce versus where not to use it. This is ideally aimed to prevent the hammer and the nail problem where, to a person with a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. A MapReduce program consists of both the map method and the reduce method. The map method takes a set of data and converts it into another set of data via filtering or sorting operations, where individual elements are broken down into key-value pairs. The reduce method takes the map's output as input and performs a summary operation. At a system level, the MapReduce system orchestrates the processing by marshalling the distributed servers, running the various tasks in parallel, managing all communications and data transfer between the various parts of the system, and providing the redundancy and fault tolerance. If we have understood this process in detail, it is easy to understand that since all the data is already provided to a MapReduce program, it will not be able to perform if the data is of streaming type. Some computations need to happen in memory for them to be effective. These cannot be handled by MapReduce. In ML, we use iterative processing which converges to provide us results. As the iterations run, we go more closer to the desired results. MapReduce cannot be used directly for iterative processing. These are the top 3 areas where MapReduce may not work. 15. What is p-value? When you perform a hypothesis test in statistics, a p-value can help you determine the strength of your results. P-value is a number between 0 and 1. Based on the value, it will denote the strength of the results. The claim which is on trial is called null hypothesis. Low p-value, less than or equal to 0.05, indicates strength against the null hypothesis, which means we can reject the null hypothesis. High p-value, greater than or equal to 0.05, indicates strength for the null hypothesis, which means we can accept the null hypothesis. P-value of 0.05 indicates the hypothesis could go either way. To put it in another way, high p-values, your data are likely with a true null. Low p-values, your data are unlikely with a true null. _ 16. How is the K-nearest neighbor KNN algorithm different from K-means clustering? KNN is a supervised learning algorithm used for classification. K-means is an unsupervised learning algorithm used for clustering. KNN is a supervised learning algorithm, which means training data is labeled. The goal of KNN is to classify an unlabeled point into. K-means clustering requires only a set of unlabeled points in a threshold. Then the algorithm will take unlabeled points and gradually learn how to cluster them into groups by computing the mean of the distance between different points. The primary difference is that when training data is labeled, it becomes supervised learning, while when the data is unlabeled, it is unsupervised learning. 17. What is overfitting? How do we avoid it? Overfitting is traditionally defined as training some flexible representation so that it memorizes the data and carries that noise, resulting in failure to predict in the future. To avoid overfitting, use fewer parameters. Use a simpler model with fewer parameters. This will avoid capturing the noise, reducing overfitting. Better performance measures. Use canonical performance measures. The problems should dictate which performance measures will provide a better performance. Cross-validation. Cross-validation techniques help avoid overfitting. Repeated random subsampling validation and k-fold cross-validation are good techniques to use depending on the dataset. 18. How do you decide between model accuracy and model performance? This question is directly related to the accuracy paradox and tests your knowledge in situations when higher accuracy means poor predictions. The accuracy paradox for predictive analytics states that predictive models with a given level of accuracy may have greater predictive power than models with higher accuracy. It may be better to avoid the accuracy metric in favor of other metrics such as precision and recall. Let's take a situation of invalid password attempt prediction. In a hypothetical company, there are extremely fewer cases of invalid password attempts. If we were to use a predictive model for this, a highly accurate model would actually have fewer cases of invalid password attempts, which would not be that helpful. Hence, sometimes, lower level of accuracy provides higher predictive power. 19. What's the difference between type I and type 2 error? Type I error is equivalent to a false positive. Type 2 error is equivalent to a false negative. Type I error refers to non-acceptance of hypothesis which ought to be accepted. Type 2 error is the acceptance of hypothesis which ought to be rejected. Let's take an example of biometrics. When someone scans their fingers for a biometric scan, a type I error is the possibility of rejection even with an authorized match. A type 2 error is the possibility of acceptance even with a wrong, unauthorized match. 20. What contributes to artificial intelligence? Basically, artificial intelligence relates to following disciplines such as computer science, biology, psychology, linguistics, mathematics and engineering. 21. Name types of artificial intelligence. A. Strong artificial intelligence. B. Weak artificial intelligence. 22. Explain types of artificial intelligence. There are two types of artificial intelligence such as 23. Strong artificial intelligence. Basically, it deals with the creation of real intelligence artificially. Also, strong AI believes that machines can be made sentient. There are two types of strong AI. Human-like AI in this computer program thinks and reasons to the level of human being. Non-human-like AI in this computer program develops a non-human way of thinking and reasoning. B. Weak artificial intelligence. As a result, it doesn't believe creating human-level intelligence in machines is possible. Although, AI techniques can be developed to solve many real-life problems. 24. Why AI is needed. There are some reasons behind its need. So, let us first compare differences between traditional computer programs versus human intelligence. As it's identified that normal humans have the same intellectual mechanisms. Moreover, the difference in intelligence is related to quantitative biochemical and physiological conditions. Traditionally, we use computing for performing mechanical computations using fixed procedures. Also, there are more complex problems which we need to solve. 25. What is AI technique? Basically, its volume is huge, next to unimaginable. Although, it keeps changing constantly. As AI technique is a manner to organize. Also, we use it efficiently in such a way that basically, it should be perceivable by the people who provide it. As it should be easily modifiable to correct errors. Moreover, it should be useful in many situations, though it is incomplete or inaccurate. 26. What are applications of AI? A. Natural language processing. Basically, It is possible to interact with the computer. Also, they understand only natural language which human use to spoke. B. Gaming. In strategic games, AI plays a crucial role, such as chess, poker, tic-tac-toe, etc., as applications presence which integrate machine software to impart reasoning and advising. They provide explanation and advice to the users. C. Speech recognition. Basically, systems capable of hearing the language and also their meanings while human talks to it. 27. What is single-agent pathfinding problems? There are different types of games, such as 3x3 8-tile, 4x4 15-tile puzzles are single-agent pathfinding challenges, as they are consisting of a matrix of tiles with a blank tile. Thus, to arrange the tiles by sliding a tile either vertically or horizontally into a blank space. Also, with the aim of accomplishing some objective. 28. What is name search algorithm technology? A. Problem space. Basically, it is the environment in which the search takes place. A set of states and set of operators to change those states. 29. What brute force search strategies? This strategy doesn't require any domain-specific knowledge. Thus it's so simple strategy. Hence, it works very smoothly and fine with a small number of possible states. Requirements for brute force algorithms. A. State description. B. A set of valid operators. C. Initial state. D. Goal state description. B. Problem instance. It is a result of initial state plus goal state. C. Problem space graph. We use it to represent problem state. Also, we use nodes to show states. D. The depth of a problem. We can define the length of the shortest path. 30. What is breadth first search algorithm? Basically, we have to start searching for the root node and continue through neighboring nodes first. Further, moves towards next level of nodes. Moreover, till the solution is found, generates one tree at a time. As this search can be implemented using FIFO-Q data structure. This method provides the shortest path to the solution. FIFO first in first out. If the branching factor, average number of child nodes for a given node, equals B and depth equals D, the number of nodes at level D equals BD. The total no of nodes created in worst case is B plus B2 plus B3 plus BD. 31. What is depth first search algorithm? It is based on the concept of LIFO, as it stands for last in first out. Also, implemented in recursion with LIFO stack data structure. Thus, it used to create the same set of nodes as the breadth first method, only in the different order, as the path has been stored in each iteration from root to leaf node. Thus, store nodes are linear with space requirement. With branching factor B and depth as M, the storage space is Bm. 32. What is bidirectional search algorithm? Basically, starts searches forward from an initial state and backward from goal state, as till both meets to identify a common state. Moreover, initial state path is concatenated with the goal state inverse path. Each search is done only up to half of the total path. 33. What is the uniform cost search algorithm? Basically, it performs sorting and increasing the cost of the path to a node. Also, always expands the least cost node. Although, it is identical to breadth first search if each transition has the same cost. It explores paths in the increasing order of cost. 34. What is iterative deepening depth first search algorithm? To perform this search we need to follow steps. As it performs the DFS starting to level 1, starts and then executes a complete depth first search to level 2. Moreover, we have to continue searching process till we find the solution. We have to generate nodes till single nodes are created. Also, it saves only stack of nodes. As soon as he finds a solution at depth D, the algorithm ends. The number of nodes created at depth D is BD and at depth D1 is BD1. 35. What are the branches of AI? Neural networks, expert systems, mining, statistical etc. Neural networks, An artificial neural network, ANN, is an arithmetic model based on the edifice and functionality of various biological neural networks. Data mining. Artificial intelligence and data mining techniques have been in combination to solve issues related to diagnosis, segmentation, classification and predictions. Statistical AI. This branch of AI basically deals with domain models that disport both uncertainty and complexity in rational structures. Pattern recognition. This primarily rivets on the apprehension of regularities and patterns in data. Fuzzy logic, a type of multi-valued logic, where the truth values of the variables may vary anywhere between 0 and 1. Swarm intelligence. A biologically inspired AI model that's based on the behavior of common insects such as bees, ants, etc. Genetic algorithm, a systematic combination of adaptive self-learning algorithm that gets its base from the concept of genetics. Expert system. This is implemented in designing systems that is capable of emulating humans' decision-making ability. 36. Explain the types of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence can be classified into two main categories. Strong artificial intelligence. This is basically creating real intelligence in an artificial way using the principle that even machines can be made sentimental. There are two types of strong AI, human-like and non-human-like. Weak artificial intelligence. These types of AI systems are created only to solve real-life problems and doesn't deal with the creation of extremely efficient human-like intelligence. 37. What are the advantages of fuzzy logic systems? The fuzzy logic system has the following key advantages. The leverage to take inaccurate, malformed and clangorous input information. Extremely easy to understandable and effortlessly constructible logics. The flexibility to add and delete the rules as per our convenience in the FLS system. 38. What is an alternate key in AI? Alternate key. All the candidate keys except the primary keys are known as alternate keys. 39. What is the artificial key in AI? Artificial key, creating a key artificially by assigning a number to individual record, in the absence of a standalone key. 40. What is compound key in AI? Compound key, integration of various elements to generate an exceptional identified, in the absence of any data elements that specifically defines the subsistence within a construct. 41. How game theory and AI related? Artificial intelligence system makes use of the game theory for the purpose of enhancement as the requirement is always more than one participant. Hence, the relation between game theory and AI can be explained using the following 2 points. Participant design. Game theory is used to achieve maximum utility by enhancing a participant's decision. Mechanism design. This is basically a type of inverse game theory, where games are specifically designed focusing a group of ultra-smart participants. 42. What is FOPL? FOPL is the abbreviation for first-order predicate logic, which is a congregation of formal systems, with a statement being divided into two parts, a predicate and a subject. The predicate holds the potential to define or modify the subject's properties. 43. What is simulated annealing algorithm? Annealing is basically the processes of heating a metal and then immediately cooling it to make changes to its internal structure. The same principle is applied in computing where a probabilistic technique is put into practical use for the approximation of a given function's global optimum. 44. What is greedy best first search algorithm? This is the algorithm process where the node closest to the goal will be expanded first. The default explanation of nodes goes by Fn equals Hn. This technique is applied at a later stage, where priority queue will come into the picture. 45. What are disadvantages uniform cost search algorithm? There can be multiple long paths with a cost less than or equal to C. Uniform cost search must explore them all. 46. Where can I find conference information? KNearest maintains a web page that lets you search for upcoming or past conferences in a variety of AI disciplines. 47. Question 12. What is a chatterbot? Chatterbot is a game. 48. Suppose I have Gmail account. I want to delete all the mails in my inbox having the same name, for e.g., Orca. I have thousands of mails like that. So, how can I delete all the mails having single name? Is there any option provided in Gmail? Yes. It's very easy. Just do one thing. In the top of the inbox page there is a search box. Just search whatever you want to delete, then click. After a few seconds all the mail with concern name get displayed. Just select them and delete them, as you delete your spam or other mails. 49. What are the undesirable properties of knowledge? Following are the undesirable properties of knowledge. A. Voluminous. Knowledge may become voluminous. B. Difficult to characterize. It is difficult to characterize the knowledge accurately. C. Variability. Knowledge has a property that it may change over the time. D. Variation in usage. Knowledge may be used in some other way than the way in which data is organized. 50. What is relational knowledge? It is a knowledge representation scheme in which facts are represented as a set of relations. For example, knowledge about players can be represented using a relation called player having three fields: player name, height and weight. This form of knowledge representation provides weak inferential capabilities when used as standalone, but are useful as an input for sophisticated inferential procedures. 51. What is inheritable knowledge? It is a knowledge representation scheme in which knowledge is represented using objects, their attributes and corresponding value of the attributes. The relation between different objects is defined using the ISU property. For example, if two entities, adult male and person, are represented as objects, then the relation between the two is that adult male is a person. 52. What is an artificial intelligence neural networks? Artificial intelligence neural networks can model mathematically the way biological brain works, allowing the machine to think and learn the same way the humans do, making them capable of recognizing things like speech, objects and animals like we do. 53. What does a production rule consist of? The production rule comprises of a set of rules and a sequence of steps. 54. Which search method takes less memory? The depth-first search method takes less memory. 55. What is agent in artificial intelligence? Anything perceives its environment by sensors and acts upon an environment by effectors are known as agent. Agent includes robots, programs, and humans, etc. 56. What does partial order or planning involve? In partial order planning, rather than searching over a possible situation, it involves searching over the space of possible plans. The idea is to construct a plan piece by piece. 57. What is a heuristic function? A heuristic function ranks alternatives in search algorithms at each branching step based on the available information to decide which branch to follow. 58. What is a top-down parser? A top-down parser begins by hypothesizing a sentence and successively predicting lower-level constituents until individual pre-terminal symbols are written. 59. Mention the difference between breadth-first search and best-first search in artificial intelligence. These are the two strategies which are quite similar. In best-first search, we expand the nodes in accordance with the evaluation function, while in breadth-first search a node is expanded in accordance to the cost function of the parent node. 60. What is supervised machine learning? Answer: it requires training using labeled data. Example: in order to do classification, which was a supervised learning task, you'll first need to label the data you'll use to train the model to classify data into your labeled groups.